Hey everybody, it's Tikian. So as you can see from the title, this is another speed paint, but it's a Meet the Artist redraw. I've always done one every year for some time now, and I thought, hey, why not do one for 2019 before the year ends? Well, there's still some time before the year ends, but hey, time flies. And yeah, I am going to have a bit of a Q&A while doing this Meet the Artist video. So I went on to social media and I asked if you guys had some questions for me, and so I have a number of them to answer. I'll answer them as best as I can. I'm not very good at speaking, I'm sorry. But before I do that, I thought I'd introduce myself a little bit since I never really got the chance to properly. So my name is Elijah, but you can call me Eli for the most part. As of this video, I'm in my early 20s and I am studying in an art school as learning graphic design. Yeah. Anyway, I should probably start answering some of your questions. I think I'll start answering with some of the more like icebreaker type questions. Like, not specifically about my art, but just kind of like sort of me in general. It's not. But they're both very Pokemon related, which is interesting. But I love Pokemon, so that's fine. Okay, so this first question is my favorite Pokemon game, which is a little hard to say because I feel like I haven't played a lot of Pokemon games. Currently the ones that I have played are the original Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and then Pokemon Moon, Ultra Moon, which is not a lot. I mean, I played a little bit of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but I never really finished it. But I guess like my favorite out of those mainline Pokemon games, maybe Alpha Sapphire, just I guess purely for the nostalgic factor of it. It's a little difficult to say. I feel like I haven't played enough Pokemon games to really be able to determine which one is my favorite, but I haven't, since Pokemon Sapphire back in like the early 2000s, I haven't really played a Pokemon game, like a mainline Pokemon game. So like Alpha Sapphire was a way for me to get back into playing more Pokemon. Because, I mean, you know, it was a remake of the first ever mainline Pokemon game I've ever played. Actually, first ever Pokemon game in general I've ever played. So, that was fun. That was neat. It was nice seeing everything with, like, better graphics. And, yeah, a very different feel. Okay, so the next question is my top 5 Pokemon. I know I have a list somewhere about that, but I can kind of list most of them off the top of my head. That would be Gardevoir, Altaria, Drampa, Rayquaza, and I'm not particularly sure about the 5th one. I feel like Galarian Ponyta is pretty cool. I mean, look, listen, as soon as we found out that was a Galarian Ponyta, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is a unicorn. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, if not Galarian Ponyta, it would be Mawile, I'm pretty sure. I have like tiny figures of Gardevoir and Mawile on my shelf, and it's pretty awesome. Okay, so now that the Pokemon questions are done, I need to. I think I'd start to answer some questions about my art. So, okay. When did I start drawing? It's a little bit hard to determine because I've been drawing for as long as I can remember, ever since I was a child. My parents have always been very supportive, I guess, of more like artistic stuff. So things like drawing, writing, they've been pretty supportive, like encouraging, really, for the most part. I guess like I'm kind of lucky in that sense because both of my parents are artists. So, like for me, getting into art is kind of like natural to them, I guess, because of influence wise. Yeah. But okay, no joke. Like my parents are like they're like interior designers. So I remember growing up with them just kind of like looking at interior and like materials of places. They do the thing where you kind of like tap on the wall if they want to know what kind of material it is. It's kind of weird from an outsider's perspective, but that's the kind of stuff I grew up with. It's bizarre, but I'm used to it at this point. um okay, so my favorite thing to draw is usually people. um it's not really a realistic style, as you can see. I do more of a cartoony, anime-ish style, but I love drawing people because one of my favorite things to do is character design. Which is funny because I'm doing graphic design, which is completely different from what my actual hobby is. But, I want to try new things. And I feel like you never really know what you're capable of if you don't at least try, I guess. But yeah, my favorite thing to draw is people, character design. I love like designing characters in OCs. It's one of my favorite things to do. As for whether I prefer digital or traditional art, I actually prefer digital. I'm not saying that like traditional art is bad. Like I do actually like using traditional mediums and kind of like playing around with what you can do with them. But I feel like digital art is my favorite. Just because you can do so much with it, with things digitally nowadays. And I feel like people kind of don't appreciate what you can do with a digital medium. It's not really so much about cheating art or whatever. It's about the skill is about using what you have to its full potential. And traditional art does have incredible things you can do with it. It's just I like having the kind of freedom that I can have doing digital, if that makes sense. Okay, so okay, so this one, there is no real full proof for stuff like this because I feel like each person has a very different way of handling that comparison to other artists, especially when it comes to your own progress versus their progress. But what I like to do is I like to make comparison posts of my current art and my old art, because you see what that does is I get to actually look at my own growth, because I feel like when it comes to comparing your art to other people's art styles, especially those that you feel are better than you always forget progress. You always forget that those people they start off somewhere, and you forget that you start off somewhere. And those sort of like progress timelines are never gonna be the same. No matter how much you try, they're never gonna be the same because each person is different. Their journey is different. So I feel like by comparing your old art from maybe like months ago or even years ago to your current art is very important, because you remember your progress. You remember that you've improved. Focusing on your journey, I think, is more important than focusing on other people's journeys when it comes to growth as an artist. I mean, again, it's not foolproof, but when you remember your roots, when you remember how you started and how you've grown, kind of makes you feel a little bit more proud of where you are currently. Anyway, that's it for all the questions. Thank you so much for asking them and indulging in these in this little thing of mine. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!